Hi, I'm Judy Litt, and today I have a short practice for you for your feet. I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be. We'll find out. Probably somewhere between 15-20 minutes, perhaps a little shorter, maybe. We'll find out. And my intention for you today, and you are always free to choose your own intention. In fact, I really encourage that. It is to have strong feet. Our feet are our foundation. It is also, I want you to think about more emotionally getting unstuck, moving forward, because that is what our feet do for us. So go ahead and come to face the short end of your mat. Tuck your toes behind you, reach back. Try and make sure they're all on the mat as best you can. I'm not very good at that actually, so just actually pull them forward. And then walk your hands down. So we're not actually in toe squat. I'll bet you thought we were going to come into toe squat. We are in a child's pose with our toes tucked under. And so we are stretching through the soles of our feet. We are stretching out the fascia that take a real beating. If you've ever had plantar fasciitis, knock on wood, so far I haven't, you know what that feels like. And I'd like you to just go ahead and slide forward, come forward over your hands, elbows and forearms are on the mat, and then push yourself back. Maybe walk those elbows back towards your body. So we're going to come in and out a few times like that, really stretching your arms overhead and then coming forward using your core. We're also going to be working on our core a little bit in this practice. You wouldn't think that feet and core go together, but they can. Inhale forward. Exhale, pushing back. Couple more times. Inhale forward. It's also going to work your shoulders a little bit. And of course, I talk a lot in our practices about what muscles you may be working, but the body really works as a whole. Everything is truly connected. For this practice, you don't need any props. You might want a couple blocks perhaps, and maybe a yoga blanket or a towel to pad your knees. Go ahead and come up into Tadasana. And not Tadasana, tabletop. It's been kind of a long day. Okay, toes are still tucked under. I want you to engage that core and then just lift the knees off the mat. And we're going to hover here for 3, for 2, for 1, and then gently set your knees back down. So we're getting into the core here. You may also notice this in your thighs as well. Inhale, go ahead and hover for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, exhale, inhale, hover for 3, for 2, for 1. We don't really get into our feet a whole lot in yoga, unless you watch my vlog and you'll know that we really do. Inhale, hover. 3, 2, 1. Really pulling in those abs. Protect that low back. Shoulder blades glide down your back. Last time. Inhale. Pull those abs in and hover for 1, for 2, for 3. Go ahead and untuck those toes. Inhale. Step your right foot forward. Low lunge. Go ahead and tuck the toes under again. So really it's a low crescent lunge. Take a few breaths here. Grow a little longer. Instead of sagging down like this, like I was, push the mat away, push the floor away. This is a spot where you might want a couple of blocks underneath your hands. And then inhale. Begin to take your hips back towards your heels, not bringing them down, just bringing them over those heels. Sole of the foot stays on the mat, and then flex and point and flex and point. Notice where in your body you feel this when you flex and when you point. Just showing those ankles a little love. Go ahead and bring that right foot back, or right leg back to meet the left. So we're back into our tabletop position. And just pause. Maybe push the mat away a little bit. Notice the differences side to side. On your next inhale, step that left leg forward. Tuck the back toes, but leave your right knee on your mat. Low crescent lunge. Go ahead and take the glutes back, so the glutes are over your knee. Straighten out that front leg, your left leg, and flex and point, and flex and point, flex, and point, and flex, and point. Drag that front foot back, knees are together, hip width apart. And go ahead and stretch that right leg straight out behind you. And then rock yourself a little forward and then press back, really press back through that right heel. Rock forward. Press back. We're trying to get really into all of our lower legs here while strengthening our feet, giving our ankles a little love as well. And like I said, I want you to think about how you're moving forward, how you are going from winter into spring. Spring will be here before you know it. Even when you live in places like I do, we don't get a whole lot of spring. Sometimes we don't get any spring at all. Inhale and tabletop, press the mat away and just pause. Notice how that right foot leg feels compared to the left. On your next inhale, go ahead and stretch that left leg back, really pushing through the heel. Inhale forward, exhale back, getting into our calves a little bit. Now forward, exhale back. Couple more times. Back into your tabletop position, pause. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. Really spread your fingers wide, pressing down into the knuckles, pressing the mat away, really pressing into your index finger and your thumb. Take your hips back to your heels and then slowly bring them up towards the ceiling for down dog. You may want to take your hands and your hips as wide as the mat. Make more room for your shoulders and those hips. Making sure that you are pressing away. And gaze is between your legs. Take a few breaths here and then begin to come back up onto your toes and then take your heels back towards the mat. And then inhale up onto your toes. Getting a little bit more into those calves, a few more times. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. Last time, inhale up, exhale down. Knees slowly come down to the mat. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Go ahead and sit your Hips back onto your heels. Head comes up straight toward the ceiling. Nice long spine. Take a couple of breaths here. And then take your hands behind you. We're just going to bring our knees up off of the mat. This is a very intense ankle stretch. And you're probably going to get a lot less. You're not going to get as far as you think you are. I always think, oh, my knees are pointing way up towards the ceiling. And yeah, they're like an inch or two off of the mat. But it is a great ankle stretch. Listen to your body. Make sure you're not in pain anywhere. A couple more breaths here. Notice how your breathing is. Is it short and choppy? That probably means you've gone too far into the stretch. And then gently bring your knees back down. Sitting tall on those heels. Rock pose. Also known as thunderbolt pose. Really, really good for your digestion. Nice ankle stretch. Nice stretch along your feet. And I want you to remain pointing towards the short end of your mat. I'm going to turn to the long end of my mat. Actually, I may not. I'm going to briefly turn to the long end of my mat. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. Let your hips fall out to either side. If this is really uncomfortable for you, grab those blocks, put them underneath your knees, and that will just make this a more comfortable pose for you. Hold on to your feet. Inhale, grow that spine long. Put a smile on your face. I'm going to turn. You stay where you are. So, hands around the feet, knees falling out. And then I'm just going to take my left hand to the left foot, and I'm going to give my foot a little massage. I guess let's turn around like this so you can see what I'm doing, right? You still have the soles of your feet together, or if that's not comfortable, you can do it one at a time. That's fine. Just show your feet a little love. Maybe take your knuckles even and come up from your heel up towards those toes. This can feel really nice. Okay, I'm going to turn back here and butterfly. So you can take your thumb, do a little bit here. You can take those knuckles, take the feet a little bit apart, and then after we've massaged our feet a little bit, come to stillness. Maybe feel those hips opening up a little bit more. And just take a few breaths here. And if you want a little bit more relaxation, you can go ahead and come into child's pose. However feels comfortable for you. And just let it all go. Let anything that you are stressing over or worrying over, let it go. Take your forehead to the mat or a block. Let it go. How can you move forward? How are you going to move forward from winter into spring? What do you need to bring into your life? And wherever you are, let that butterfly go. If you're in butterfly, come to an easy seated position. If you're in child pose, I invite you to stay in child pose as long as you'd like. Bring the hands in front of your heart if you're ready to move on with your day. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today. Thank your feet for carrying you and moving you forward. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I truly appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead and click like. And remember, every day, go inside. Find the peace, the happiness, the calm that is always waiting for you.